Hey guys, Fishing Foresight here. Listen, I get asked a lot of questions on social media. How are you catching all those redfish? What are you using? What are you doing? I thought I'd just take a few minutes to talk about my setup, some of the tackle, and techniques that I use to catch redfish. Obviously, I'm partial to the Hobie products. I love my Hobie Outback. This is a 2020 Hobie Outback in camo. I feel like it's an advantage over the competition for several reasons. A lot of the main reasons, in the Tampa Bay, Florida area, we have very skinny, shallow water. You do have a lot of options for drive systems. But what others don't provide is the ability to meet Daisy, the little dog helper here, is flutter kick. This allows you to move the kayak in shallow waters versus your traditional prop drop-in systems. You have a big draft. So this is a huge advantage from the get-go. Let's face it, we're fishing for those redfish inshore. We're in shallow waters, so you need to be able to navigate shallow waters hands-free is a big advantage with a Hobie. Next, I don't want to get too hung up, but I want to talk a little bit about my tackle. I do also prefer St. Croix. I feel like their slogan says it all, best rods on earth. I love them because they are extremely light and extremely sensitive and very powerful. I fish, and this is important, whether you get St. Croix or any other brand, if you're fishing from a kayak, you want to get the 7 foot. 7 foot is kind of ideal because you're lower to the water and you're typically fishing in closer quarters. That shorter rod's really going to help you land fish, make a little more accurate cast, and also have the ability to avoid getting hung up on mangrove lines that we face fishing for those reds in Tampa, Florida. Secondly, let's go to the most important thing, the thing that I get all the questions on. What tackle you're using, what are your techniques? I prefer to jig. I feel like I go out and I jig literally 90 to 95% of the time, and that's what's producing the redfish bite. Granted, yes, do I work crankbaits? Do I work topwater? Yes, I do. But 95% of the time, when I'm catching fish and nobody else is, I am working a jig. Well, what are you working, Fishing Foresight? I am using, and these are some of my preferred things here. I love the Slayer products. They're made here in Jacksonville, Florida. And I love the Slayer jigs. I use 2 different types of Slayer jigs. There is a weedless jig right here. Now I'll tell you, yes, you can get a Z-Man weedless jig, but what I'll tell you is, you catch one redfish, that weed guard on the Z-Man, it's done, and you just wasted your money. As you can see, you see leader tied on that Slayer. Look at the weed guard. It's not bent, it's not contorted. You can catch multiple fish using the Slayer weedless. So it's well worth the money going for the Slayer product there. As well, what's been working for me lately is the Slayer Sinister series, and this is called the Pepper Dash. If you can look at that color, I think I posted something earlier. This Pepper Dash color has been amazing in that semi-tannic water in Tampa Bay. And then I do also use the Berkley Gulp. It doesn't really matter the color. I prefer the root beer with a chartreuse color tail. And then as far as what I'm rigging on my setups here, 15-pound braid, 25-pound leader. Moving on, you got your tackle, you have your equipment. Next is the technique. what's important to focus on when you're fishing for reds in Tampa Bay, one, you want to be constantly moving. Two, accurate cast. You don't want to be casting 20 feet off of a mangrove line. You need to be making accurate, tight casts as close and if even under mangrove lines, which is going to make a huge difference. I know a lot of people who fish with bait casters, and that's fine. I have no problem with bait casters. I occasionally use one. I just have a preference for this setup. But if the key is constant movement and looking for those ambush points and working those lines as tight as you can. I just figured I'd share a few tips. Let's be safe out on the water. Don't forget your PFDs. And maybe we'll catch up next time and we'll have something new for you. Thanks. Man, that was a nice one. Woo! Oh my God. This one's a big one. Oh! Yes. Oh, yes. Oh my God. This one's the biggest one I've caught so far. Whoa, baby. Come here. Big red. Okay. Oh my God. Oh my God, look at this thing.